mute my Twitch real quick so I don't get feedback. And there it is. Okay, that was a fun game. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So it's like they just hit temp by this turn, and they're like, well, I have a 6, so let's see if they can, get it a little bit better. This 6 comes out right here, and it's like, guaranteed second place? Yeah. So in the fourth room that I'm in right now, which is called the Ho room, the point differences and rewards are a little bit different than the other rooms. Mainly, second place is really, really good. So first place is plus 90 points, and second place is plus 45 points. And then for us 7 Dawn, last place is minus 135. So you can think of it as if you win first place, you get 2 points. If you win second place, you get 1 point. And if you get fourth place, you lose 3 points. And then as you go up, so to like 8 Dawn, 9 Dawn, and 10 Dawn, fourth place gets a lot scarier to cap out at 10 Dawn, where if you're at 10th Dawn, every last place is equal to 2 first places, which is really hard. There's a reason why there are not many Tenhou, which is like the highest level in this game. Alright, let's go over my notes. Dun, 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 dun. So, starting off, close everyone's hands, and go to East 2. 3rd turn, 5th turn, and 7th turn. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, just let me know. So, and Bureaucratics, thanks for the follow. Alright, so in this hand we got no door up, or the regular door up, and we have 2 red door up. The Pinzer shape is really good because this is what's called a Ryankan Kanchan. So we can either take in the 3 and get a 3, 4, 5, and 5, 6, 7 and drop the 9, or we can get a 6, because just on the other side of that 4, 5 shape. And we can also get an 8, where we get a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we want to keep that around. And then we got this, so now we can either drop the 2 here, or we can drop the 4. So, normally, if you do have 3 pairs, aside from the case where you're planning to call something and open up your hand, it's not that efficient. 2 pairs is usually better than 3 pairs. But, right here, is it better to keep this around? Or is it better to keep this 2 around? So, what do we gain and what do we lose? The 2 is good in that if we get a 3, we can upgrade to a double side weight and get rid of one of our pairs. Though, it's not as great because if we get a 4, something on this one, the 5 can already use the 4. And we could just like switch over a pair. So in this case right here, I think it's actually pretty nice that we throw the 2. And also that leaves us the ability to get either the 5 or the south right here as a triplet, and then still have like 2 pair shape going on. Especially with this shape. So if this instead was like not 2 5s, but it was like 2, I don't know, 7s. We might want to drop. Well, I don't know. Do we want to drop that still? Maybe not. Yeah, we probably do. I don't know. So I guess the biggest thing right here is our improvement tile. The 2 is kind of iffy. Oh, Bureaucrat, you want to ask about the 3rd turn here? It was different than what I thought, so even though it was super impactful, turn I wanted to check it. Ah. Is that, or the one that you posted that on, is that the last one, the third turn right here? Or the third turn on the first hand? 10 to the 2, and then the 4 got crushed. The second hand. Oh, this one right here? Or the, oh, second hand. This one? I don't know which one's the second one is. Did you mean like the one we were just looking at? Which one? um, let's see. Okay, was it East 1-0? Or wait, East 2-0. Okay. Third turn. Oh yeah, so this one went to the 2 and then the 4 got crushed. Okay, yes. All right, so this is it. Yeah, so right here, normally when we ever have this shape, we kind of want to get rid of one of our pairs because we don't want to keep 3 pairs around. Because the good thing about 2 pairs is that you can upgrade them to a triplet, but you can only do that with 2 or more. So if you have 1 pair, let's say we have this, like, I don't know, south, and we draw the third south. If the rest of our hand is like straights and whatnot, that doesn't do us anything, right? Because we lose our pair, so we're not actually advancing our hand. Whereas if you have 2 pairs, then it's like flex. Like now you can get a triplet of 1, and then you just confirm the other as your pair. But now if you have 3 pairs, whether you have 2 or 3, you can still, you know, add on to like any of your pairs and make it a triplet. But the benefit of like keeping that third pair is only the 2 tiles that you get from keeping that. So in this case right here, if we get and keep this 4, the only tile that we're gaining to get closer to Tempai is going to be another of the 4s. Whereas if we keep the 2, we're getting the possibility to potentially draw an upgrade tile, like a 3, and then throw out one of our other shapes to get a nice double-sided shape. But in this case specifically, because we have the 5 and the 2, the 5 can use the 4, and so that diminishes what the 2 can use a little. And then the 2, the only like thing we're really happy about here is if we get a 3 of the Manzu. So it's not that great. And the 2 tiles that we get for right now by keeping this is actually probably a little bit better. But if we change around the situation a little, let's say instead of what we have right here, we had a, I don't know, ooh, let's make it fun. Let's say it's a 4, and then we have 2 8s. So the 4 is really good because we can possibly upgrade to even Tanyao. The 4 can also take in a 3, and it can also take in a 5. And then if we just keep this extra 4, all we get right here is another 4 chance, which we don't really need that because the 3, 4 right here is already really good. It can take in the 2, and it can take in the 5, so we're not like hurting. The biggest reason that we're hurting without any improvement is because if we do complete this shape and complete this shape, then we're stuck with a basically a triplet weight of the 5 right here and the south. Though the south isn't that bad. No one expects the south weight. But even so, yeah, if it was something like that, then we probably want it through the 4, but because it's only a 2 right here, keeping the 4 is probably a little bit better. Fun, fun. Alright, next up, 5th turn. So this right here is nice because now if we draw an 8, we could throw out our pair, and now we also have the 6 and the 3 weight, and so we upgrade some as well. And then I drew the 5. Now, normally right here, you're like, well, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, so we gotta shorten it down a little. So I'm like, oh, cool, I have the 6 and the 3 right here, so I don't need the 7 and the 8 anymore. So let's start off with the more dangerous tile and throw the 7. But that's incorrect. Because in this shape right here, the 7 is actually still very useful. For instance, if we throw the 9 right here, we can already take in no matter what a 3 and a 6. But if we throw the 9, we can now also take in another 4, and then we have quad right there, run, triplet, and pair, and then boom, Ricci. Or we can also take in this east over here, make the 2 our pair, and throw out the 5. And so it gives us a bunch of options, right? So rather than throwing the 7 here, 100% we should throw the 9. Except I messed it up, and I'm like, no! Right afterwards. Yeah, Mahjong is really interesting of like choices and whatnot, because if you like, I don't know, show like one player a hand and show another player a hand, and you're like, what would you discard? And they're like, I would discard, I don't know, the 3-so, and I would discard the 7-pin. Whenever you're asking people for advice, if they just say like random tile, that doesn't do you any good, does it? Because you don't want to know like what they would drop, because you'll probably never see that exact same hand again, or if you do, the situation's probably going to be a little bit different. The thing you want to know is why would they drop, rather than what they drop. For instance, like, you might have like a newer player who's like, oh, I would drop this, like 9. And then you might have like an intermediate player who's like, oh, I'm going to drop like the 5. And then you're going to have like a really advanced player who's like, oh, I'm going to drop the 9. But between all 3 of those players, the reason why they drop it could be different. And so getting an explanation of whenever you see like a question that was like, oh, I don't know what to do here, always ask for like not what would you do, but like why would you do? Because if someone just says 9-pin, that's not helping you any. So, and now that I dropped that, it's like, well, I guess I don't need the 9-pin now. And I was sad because I drew this, and it's like, oh, I would have got Tenpai. And I got another Tenpai right here, which is pretty nice. Unexpectedly nice. Like, I did not deserve this. Okay, so right now, we have the Dora. Let's see, right here. But we can't use it in our hand, right? We already have this, we have this, we have this, and we have a pair. Unless we can pair up the Dora, it's not that great. And this hand already has 2 Dora, so even if someone does pawn it, except maybe the dealer, but even the dealer, if we can reach you with something good, then we could probably still fight. Or if, like, I don't know, for some reason we can't, we can always fold with what we have in our hands. So that's why we want to drop it now rather than later. Because if we wait later, that's higher chances that someone's either A, going to draw the second one if they don't have it already, or B, potentially even get closer to Tenpai and reach on it or something. So they called that, and now it's like, oh no, they have an instant, 8,000 point hand. So we got to figure out what to do with that. Luckily, we can drop a safe tile right here and advance our hand forward. And then right here, we instantly got Tenpai. They drop the 1-so and they have 2 calls. Chances are they're probably 1 Shanten or maybe even Tenpai. If I had to guess, probably 1 Shanten. So like 1 tile away from Tenpai. Now we got Dora, Dora, Sananko. If we stay Dama with this hand, it's already an 8,000 points. And if we Ricci, it's still an 8,000 point hand. But if we Tsumo, then it goes up to 12,000 point hand. Or if we get an Uradora, then it goes up to a 12,000 point hand. Or, because we have 3 triplets, if we get 3 Uradora, it goes up to 16,000 point hand. So, in this situation right here, we can also potentially see Suanko, 4 closed triplets, which is the Yakumon. But we have a really good weight. And most importantly, right now, if you're one of these 2 people, what are you doing? You're probably going to be defending against this guy who has 3 Dora and just called twice. So what are you going to throw? Anything that they've thrown, any safe tiles. So they're like a giant light that's just like blaring. It's like the sun. And now we have our cool secret Tenpai, where if we throw it, like we don't have to tell anyone, oh, we're in Tenpai, be careful. We can just stay quiet about it. And if they do that, everyone's gonna be like, oh, watch out for that giant flaming death hand over here. Let's throw safe tiles. They might not notice that, oh, it's actually dangerous to this person, and it's their winning tile. But right now we're waiting on the 2 and the 5, and this person hasn't dropped either. So that means that these two people probably aren't going to be dropping the 2 and the 5 because they're dangerous to this. Since that's the case, whether I reachy or whether I don't reachy, my winning percentage with this is still about the same. Because this person's going to be pushing because they got, a Mongon. These people are probably going to be folding because that's kind of scary. So if I declare reachy right now, I get some extra benefit without much loss.
Beach.
Reachy! Alright. Next up. East 4, 4th turn, 5th turn, and 6th turn. Okay, first off, let's go right here. Should I have called this? I don't think so. Yeah, I still don't think so. Probably not. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. Takes a screenshot and send this to people. So normally with open hands, you don't want to open like hardcore if you don't have a pair. Because the final tile in an open hand is pretty difficult, or even getting to one shanten is really, really difficult. So if I do call this, I'm not Tenpai yet. Which means I need to draw something else to get to Tenpai. And even if I do end up in Tenpai, I'll probably get the 4 and the 7 right here first and be waiting on the Dora, which, if you see a dealer with double tone and a call of the 9s, you're probably not going to drop the Dora to that, so it's a pretty bad wait. But if I ignore this and keep this as my pair, I can draw a 3, I can draw a 1, I can draw a, a 3, a 5, like a lot of different tiles to instantly get into Tenpai. Plus, it's a little bit more secret than this, because if I keep opening, then they're like, oh, scary, watch out. Whereas if I don't open up, then a little bit more likely that I can win with my 5,800 hand, or if I use the Dora, 12,000 point hand. So I don't think I want to call that. But I don't really know, so I'm going to send this to people. It might be worth it because it's a Mongon potential, but I don't know. Okay, next up, I have the 2 right here. Drop this. Because if I do draw something around the 4, I'm going to switch over. This is going to be my pair, and this will be my last run. Now, this one is interesting. Do I want to drop the 9, or do I want to drop the 4? So the reason why it's between the 9 and the 4 is because now we have a 4 in a row shape right here, a Yonrinke, which is really good because I can get a 3, and now I have a 3 side weight. I can get a 5, and now I have a double side weight. I can get a 6, and I have a double side weight. Or I can get an 8, and I have a double side weight. So it's like really good. I'm sorry, an 8 is a triple side weight. So I'm not going to break up this. Now I can either throw this 4, which means that I keep this shape alive and I still keep my 1 shanten, or I can throw out the 9 and take a step back, but have a better chance of getting some tile around either this 4 right here or this shape right here, so that my final weight will be like nice and wide. But I do have 2 Dora, and so it's like, just in case, I don't know, maybe I should throw the 9. Yeah, another question that I have for people. I don't know, maybe. I guess throwing the 4 isn't bad. It seems a bit like too chutohampa, like not like really committing to one side or the other. Crop. Another good thing about the 4 in a row shape is that if the 3 or the 5 or the 6 or the 8 comes out from this person, I can also chi it and then instantly get rid of this like bad triple weight right here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this one.
Each.
Send that to people and get some extra opinions. Oh my god, what do I do here? Yeah. 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 So I'm instant tempai waiting on the 2 and the 9 pin. Person's in reach, they don't have any information, so no defending against them. That hard anyway. So do I take tempai right now? Or do I take drop the 9 pin so I could potentially chi from the person who's in reach and get a double side weight? It's hard. Actually, maybe it's not. So these two people probably aren't going to drop the door to the dealer. To the Ricci, especially since it's last place. They might drop the 9 if they don't have anything else to go on. And then the person in Ricci would probably drop this if they grab them, but there's only 3 tiles left, and that's if they're not using them in their hand, or in anyone else's hands, for that matter. So many interesting things. Take pictures of all of them, send them to people, because I have no answer. Who do I want to send this one to? Let's send it to someone interesting. Twitter, and then send this to Nantore. That's funny, he actually replied to one of my tweets that I put earlier. Here, I'll switch that over to that real quick. So, in this question right here, I asked, this is from a couple games ago, the first game. What do you throw right here? I was stuck between either the 2 or the 3. So Ray is a player on Tenhou who has a 10th Dawn account. So he's pretty strong. So let's see. He says 3 mon. Because the door was cut. It's probably not the 3 mon. 4 mon Toriso daga Oriso. The 4 looks like it would probably pass, but yeah, you probably want to fold with this. Furiten de shobu wa muri. Oh, and if you're Furiten, then there's no reason to like fight. It's not advised, especially against the dealer reach. That's interesting. Oh. All right. I lost all my pages. Yeah, maybe taking Tempai in this one isn't that bad. I was originally thinking it's like, oh, I don't want to take Tempai because I want a good weight. But because the person's in reach, if they're not waiting on the Dora, they're the only person that could drop it. Not to mention, oh, this is another thing. Not to mention, if they do draw my winning tile and drop it because they're in reach, and they deal in, instantly the game's over. I get first place and everything's great. And as far as like defense is concerned, nothing's really safe here. This is like slightly more unsafe than this, but we have no information. It's early in the game, and technically right now all 18 Suji, all 18 double-sided weights are still a potential for this person. And so pushing this early with this hand is, yeah, no problem. So yeah, I think probably 7 is actually better. Take the instant tempai even though the weight is bad. If they didn't reach E and I drew this, I think maybe the 9's okay. But if that's the case, I probably should have throw the 9 before the 4 first. Choices.
Sumo.
Ippatsumo! And it's the 4 pin. With 2 Aerodora. This is why you Richi with good weights, even if you just have Richi. It might turn into Richi Patsumo Ura Ura. So they turned a, worthless hand into a 8,000 point hand. Okay. Next up, South 1, third turn. Ooh. So I was wondering here, it's like, do I keep around the 1 mon for anything? And now that I look at it, I actually probably should have kept around the 1 mon, because this shape right here is really good, since I don't have a pair. So we have 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, then 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4 again. So we already have all of the stuff that we need for all of our pairs. I mean all of our groups of 3. So we have 3 completed straights, and our last one is a double-sided weight. So that means we need a pair. So out of these, which is easiest to make a pair? Well, 9 is already 1 gone, so that's, kind of one thing. This 9 still remains, and then we have this 1. But this 1 is better than, is better than all the other ones. The reason why is because if we get this 5, and then we get a 2, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 shape, which is basically waiting on the 1, the 4, and the 7. So instead of going from a single tile weight, we instantly turn into like a nice 3-sided weight. And if we win on the 1, it also becomes Sanshoku as well. So yeah, keeping the 1 round here is really good. I should probably drop the 9 pin. I think in the game itself, I was like really focused on like, oh, Sanshoku chance. I don't want this 1 to mess that up, and got rid of it. But yeah, that's a bit too greedy, I think. Then I was wondering, if the 2 did come out, should I call it? And I still think the answer is no. This hand looks way too good to just like, get 2,000 point hand, especially because we're in South 1, so still kind of early. Not like super late, and first place is really, really close to me right now. Like I'm in second, and they're right next to me, so I need some points. Like 1,000, 2,000 point hand, that's not going to decide the game. Switch over right here, so now I can get a 7, or an 8, or a 9, or a 2, or a 3, or a 4, or a 5, or a 6, or a 7. Pretty good.
Each.
So now I have Tenpai with Richi, and then I'm waiting on the Dora, so Richi, Dora, Dora. Even though the board looks kind of cray,
Each.
that's still something I should take.
Each.
Dealer immediately follows afterwards, and this is kind of weird, because it's a Tsumogiri reach. So they were in Tenpai, but they decided not to reach, but now that I reach, they're like, oh, well, I better reach. So why is that? Usually there's 2 cases that come to mind. The first is, they have a really big hand that already has a Yaku, and they don't want to reach, because it's more likely someone will deal into it, if they don't reach. So it's like, pretty scary if it's that. The other thing is, like, maybe they had a really cheap hand, and they like, oh, I don't want to take this right now, I want to try to upgrade the value, but as soon as someone else's reaches, then they're like, well, I don't have a Yaku, so if they Tsuma, I'm going to be in trouble anyway, so I might as well reach. So, which one is that? Let's find out. Answer is, it was the scary one. It was the scary one. Holy shit. Oh my god. That's, yeah. Luckily for me, they're waiting on the Dora, which is my weight, and then they're also waiting on the Haku, which only has 1 left. That's scary. Why would they reach, though? Oh my god. I do not think that was a good idea on their part. Actually, maybe it is. So, the 7 is not going to be coming out, no matter what, right? Unless I drop it. But this is the interesting part, which is the Haku. So, against my reach, I don't have many safe tiles right here. Like, you can only see the 3. So, that's why I thought, well, if someone does draw the Haku, they're probably not going to drop it. I mean, they probably might drop it if they don't have any of 100% safe tiles. But now, if you have two Reachies, how do you defend against that? Usually, either A, you'll try to find a safe tile that's safe to both of them, or B, you'll throw a safe tile that's safe to one but not the other, or C, you'll throw a safe-ish tile that's kind of good to both, and Haku is right up that alley because there's only one out. Um, and so that's why they reached. Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. If my discard pile was a little bit more like active and had more safe tiles, I think if I was them, I'd probably most definitely reach. But in this case right here, even if they don't reach or not, Haku is kind of likely to come out, especially if there's only one reach and with my discards. So maybe Dama for them would have been better. But now if they reach and they Tsumo, they get an 18,000 point hand, which confirms their first place basically. I'm in reach, so I can't defend. And if they reach, they get Riichi, Ipeiko, Dora Dora, and then either Dora or Haku, and then maybe an Uradora even, so... Yeah, that's scary. uh, but even so, that doesn't change what I should do here.
Beach.
Alright, next up. South 2. Mystery, mystery, mystery. Ah, this hand. Okay, so at the beginning of this hand, I have 9 individual Kokushi tiles. So I can declare a reset right here and get a new hand. But should I? In this situation, the door is the 5, so it's kind of easy to use. That's a bit scary. But the point differences between me and everyone, like 20,000 plus from last, about 18,000 from third, and 12,800 from this person right here, who's in second. And the hand doesn't look that bad, actually. Because, like, I have 1 block right here, 2 block, 3 blocks. If I can use the door, that's 4 blocks. I can get another pair anywhere right here. So it looks like a Mangan Honitsu hand. And if someone gets a snap by before me, I can fold with a lot of stuff. Which, for my point situation, is good. Because, like, you know, I don't mind getting a big hand and just destroying someone. But I don't want to fight someone either. Like, I only want to take it if it's, like, a one-sided thing where I'm like, oh, I win. Thanks. And then I walk off with points. So, that being the case, I think keeping this is actually pretty good. Not many times you're going to find a Kokushi hand where you're like, oh, look, yeah, let's keep this and not click that cool button right there. Unless, of course, you're like 12 tiles to Kokushi. That's a pretty good reason. And then we get a pair right here, and now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 instant path. Should I throw in that first? Yeah, that's fine. This kind of hides that we're going for Honitsu. Plus, there's already 2 out, so even if we draw it, we're probably not going to keep it. Unless we go for, like, Honro, Chitoe, Honitsu, but...
Home.
Now that comes out. Should I take this? I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not bad, but it's not good either. So first off, it tells everyone, hey, I'm going for something that either is going to be a Yakuhai, Toy Toy, or Honitsu. The main reason that you don't like to call, or that you shouldn't usually call a guest win first in a Honitsu hand, is if you're not going to be able to get up to a Mangan level by calling it. So if I call this, and now let's say I get another 1, and then I get an 8, and then I get like a 3, potentially my hand is worth only 2,000, or I'm sorry, 2,600 points. Or if I get the door right there, 5,200 points. Whereas if I call the Haku, my hand is at least going to be 5,200 points, and if I get the Dora, it's going to be 8,000 points. Plus, if I do open up my hand and I need to fold, I need to have like a nice pair that I can fall back on, and this would meet that criteria. So I think passing that up is actually maybe good.
Home.
But then I instantly get a Dora, and now I'm 2 away.
Home.
Call that, throw this, keep the safer tile.
Each.
Someone reaches, now I can fold. Okay. That's pretty interesting, though. Maybe calling isn't that bad, I don't know. When I don't know, take a picture, send it to people. Repeat process. Alright. Next up, South 3, second turn, fourth turn, eighth turn, and also Toyman. Let's go second turn. This is kind of interesting. Probably, actually. I should probably throw the south here, I think. If one of these two call it, then that will be a little bit concerning and I can defend. But if I keep this around, I can get it and potentially get a hand I don't have to open, I don't have to call Ricci with. Both at this point gap, I think dropping this might be a little bit more important right now. Because if one of them calls it, then they could potentially go for like Honitsu with like a Mongon hand. And so, yeah. No. So I don't want to push in this hand. And if I can just get by with like something happening aside from me dealing in, or if I can win like Tanyao, that'd be great. I don't want to reach with this hand either because I don't want to put my neck out where I don't need to. So how do I do that? One way is Tanyao. Or Ipeiko. I still think I should drop the south here. I was holding on to the south for a while, mainly because I'm like, oh, I need like a safe tile to fall back on, but it's not safe. Especially with a call right here and a call right here. If you ever see like a Yakuai call, that itself is not that bad, but if they have like 2 Yakuai calls, then if they just get like Honitsu on top of it, or Dora Dora, then it instantly becomes a Mongon, so that's bad. So keeping this around doesn't actually do me much in the safety department, and even for my hand, it's kind of iffy.
Home.
Yeah, I held on to this way too long. Like if this was the tune, that's great because it's dead, but it's not. Okay, so right here, dealer's getting kind of scary, so I decided to drop it right now. But I should have dropped it way earlier because it's still super dangerous. Like, oh my god. Ugh.
Chi.
Dealer calls Chi. They got open call right here, bunch of cool tiles. They're probably in Tenpai. I can't see any Dora, and they have the east, so they can use the Dora as well. Oh, I can see one red Dora. So right here, I'm losing 1-4, but I get the 6 technically, and I'm dropping a safe tile for them. Oh, actually, no. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah. Actually, maybe not. No, I should. So I was thinking, oh, look, I can see 4 of the 8s. Maybe I have a wall, but wrong direction. Okay, let's see.
Long.
Then at this point, I'm like, well, I dropped this the previous turn, I draw that, so it's probably still safe for them.
Chi.
Because they didn't have a single draw. or that they kept in their hands since I last discarded this. So it's like, okay, this is good. The thing I didn't notice though is this person right here drops the live west, or except it's like a safe tile, right? So it doesn't look too dangerous. And even though they're probably maybe going to be going for Honitsu, they don't have any overflow. Because they don't have any overflow, there's a good chance they're not in Senpai yet. There are some chances or some cases where there is no overflow and you get to Senpai, but those are a lot rarer than the overflow case. So dropping that right there, especially because it came out,
Dong.
I don't think it's bad. But Ron, they had a nice tile switch at the perfect time. Yeah. And yes, they were in Tenpai with one Dora tile in their hand. Waiting on the 8! Haha! It's the last one, too. Oh, that's scary. Yeah, but this is like completely blindsided me right here. Maybe I should have just been like defending completely. Added more paranoia. That's kind of hard, though. Alright. And then, final hand, 4th turn.
Dong.
What do I drop here? I think maybe the 1-pin actually isn't bad. If I get to Tenpai with the double side weight, I'm probably going to be reaching. And if I do happen to draw like an 8 first, or a 5 first, even Ricci with on the 7-pin isn't bad in this situation because it's like a sudden death match. And it's hard to fall into last. Plus, if I reach and someone deals in, then they could fall into last right there and the game ends, so they'll be more inclined to fold. I was really, really paranoid of like, oh, someone's going to have 2 Chun, but I think that was too much paranoia. Yeah. So maybe the 1-pin is better right there. One pin because there's 1-5 that's out. Normally it'd be the 8 because then I can draw a 3 to improve it. But, yeah. And then they got Senpai and Ron. Oh, magic. Alright. That's it for today. So, thanks for watching. And I'll be streaming again tomorrow. Because I play Mahjong every day.